We're delighted that we've got Jose Franken and Carien von Horne with what sounds like a really interesting session for quite a few of us around things that we've been talking around earlier. The backbone of better, support structures for lasting improvement. I'll just quickly, I'm sure that a lot of you both know these wonderful two people, but I'll just give you a little bit of background into both of them before I hand over. So Dr. Franken is a Continuous Improvement Program Manager at the University of Twente in the Netherlands. The background in computer science, she worked for over 15 years as an IT project leader and an ICT manager. Since 2003, she's worked as a lean advisor and is a lean master black belt in many different multinational production as well as service organisations. She started her PhD research in 2018 from a personal interest in improving the dynamics and outcomes of teams and individuals in Kaizen events. We know who to come and talk to now about Kaizen. Her thesis is titled Group Capabilities and Process Quality in Complex Problem Solving. Was successfully defended in April 2024. Congratulations, that is a huge effort. Her first empirical study received the 2020 European Operations Management Association Harry Bohr Best Doctoral Paper Runner-Up Award and got published in the International Journal of Operations and Production Management. Amazing. Wow. We're also joined by Carien von Horne, Senior Advisor with Specialisation in Process Management and Continuous Improvement at the Saxion University of Applied Sciences in the Netherlands. She has over 30 years of experience in higher education, a variety of roles as a teacher, team leader and a project manager. She's written here she's proficient in lean management, in brackets, black belt. I think that's a bit more than just proficient. And Lean Sensei, and also a certified Carter coach. After working as a project manager in the field of education logistics, Carien moved towards lean management and in 2017 joined the continuous improvement team where she is now. So her responsibilities include several strategic assignments in different units across the institution, offering, co-designing and carrying out a lot of lean training. Together with her colleagues, she connects and supports management and employees in their everyday work at the university. She's chair of the Lean in Higher Education Netherlands and Belgium regional group and represents this network in Lean HE Europe. I'd like to hand over to you two. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you for all the interesting introductions, and Carien and me, we are very pleased that we can ask a question to the international network, because I think that's the opportunity we got when organizing this organizing this event, that you said it's not only about sending and giving information. It's like I could have told you something about Kaizen and groups dynamics, but it's also an opportunity to ask others your questions. And Carien and I, we are closely related to each other, working in different organizations, but very close to each other, only 5 kilometers from each other. And sometimes we have the discussion, if we leave, what's going to happen? And then you know that lean shouldn't be about persons and individuals, but it should be about systems and how it's organized. And being able to ask this question on the whole worldwide network, really, well, we hope to get any answers from the group. Carien, yes. Did you introduce as well and what we want to discuss?
Well, do you share the presentations? Then you can start.
I will.
Okay. Well, it's really interesting that we can ask this question because we, at the age of over 60 now, so in some years we're not there again, and it's always interesting to see what's happening when you want to bring over the next generation. And so we ask some questions in this workshop today, and hopefully we get more information from all of you to make this next step for us in our organizations.
Yeah. And then I'll start a presentation, Carien. I'll try to set them in presenter mode, but technique is always a challenge. This one. So let's go for it. The backbone of better, lasting improvements. A short introduction, and we were already introduced, and maybe for our organizations. We both located in Enschede in the Netherlands, and I think it was already 8 years ago, Carien, or something like that, that we met and that we decided, well, we're two universities, applied university, but on the topic of lean and how to improve together, it's very interesting to discuss what's happening in your place, what's happening in our place. And although we see all the differences, well, the interesting thing is that continuous improvement and how to handle it in academic environments has a very large similarity. So it's also a joy to work together on this one.
And I would like to add that, well, the introduction has already been done. But what I'd like to add is that I put some information for my learning process. And one of my learning process was a slow one. I learned to swim when I was 21 and not in my child age. And I learned that it's still possible to learn something at an age which maybe you think I've passed that. And I think that is important for all of us to keep on doing the learning. And that is what I want to do today as well.
Absolutely. To give an introduction of our organizations, Carien.
Yes, I put some characteristics of our improvement program. We started in 2017. In 2020, on the online conference, we showed our first results of the continuous improvement program we had. And Vincent Wiegel said to us, well, the best title is in 3 years' time from zero to full-blown lean. I'm not sure if it was full-blown lean, but zero was for sure the starting point we had. And now we are 5 years ahead from this, and it's still a story which has a follow-up. And the main goal keeps on being creating a common languages, and we still use internal trainers to have some in-company training, especially the Green Belt, and we do this together with the University of Twente. Which is very nice because then you get combined groups from two universities of applied sciences, and you when you combine them, then the focus is more on what to learn from each other and not to focus only on the problems you face every day. So sometimes it helps when you see another organization in your training and combine the best part of each departments. On the other side, you see our leaflet, which we use as a team on continuous improvement, and we work on elaboration of that strategy, leadership and teams. And this is sort of themes which we bring to the leaders. This is what we can, which we can offer as a team.
Very interesting program and a very interesting journey. Yeah. If we go to the University of Twente, well, some of the characteristics of our lean, well, I call it a program, but it's actually just an assignment from create an improving organization. And we try to find all the places where we can find the energy to improve. Well, we started in 2015, and well, we were very glad that there was a small sentence in our strategy till 2030 that says we do lean as a way of working or continuous improvement. We decided to go from academic can be a bit stubborn. Just give them the knowledge, give them the capabilities. So we give a lot of training on all different levels. also on to students, but that's that the students become enthusiastic, and maybe from there our colleagues will get enthusiastic. Where the approach was developed in the typical Dutch culture, open, direct, and again I said a stubbornness. But what we see at the moment, maybe you know that in the Netherlands, the universities and the budget cuts and all that kind of things, we're having quite a heavy storm on that one. We see the request coming up for please help us out on our questions, on process improvement, on all the kind of things that can help to become more effective in our way of working. So what we do is very much valued. Don't call it CI or lean or whatever it is. But well, the whole program consists out of one FTE, that's me, and what will happen when I leave? Although people value what we do and how we combine it, and of course I work together with a lot of the green belts, and we also have some black belts, but what is happening when we step out? And that was the question that Carien and we discussed when it came up to this conference. What happens if the enthusiastic starters of the programs, if they leave an organization? Well, that's what we want to discuss with you. So we have an introduction, and especially the why of our effort. What do we want to achieve? Well, we want to achieve that lean lasts, because it's not a once in a lifetime, it's a continuation, and we know that organizations need that skill and capabilities. But how do we support the organization with an effective CI team? And that's especially the question of today, that we want to understand how you are doing it, what are the important characteristics, and maybe find some answer and get inspired. So this is our question. Normally you have the question mark at the end of your presentation. We have it at the beginning. How to organize lasting CI in higher education. And I hope you, just as us, think this is a very intriguing question. We know CI is about executive support. It's in every lean book. And I know my executive board is changing every 4 years. We have faculty boards changing over. They're much focused on academic. What about their support for CI? We know it's about empowering, creating enthusiastic people. We know it's about improving, sharing results, make people proud on what they achieved. But it's also about enabling. That means that well, when we started lean in our organization, the capabilities on continuous improving were low. It's not. My colleagues are very smart, and we are a very inspiring organization. But if you ask them how to improve, the best you get is great ideas. But if you look at the improvement or the change process people have to go through, they are at the beginning of a learning curve, let's call it that way. And we know also from literature that to continue that learning curve, there should be some support in the organization. And to make it a bit graphical, we want to have a performing organization. We need improving teams on all levels, and we need a supportive structure, an enabling team that helps organizations to develop their own skills and capabilities. So that's the focus for today. Being a little bit an academic by now, we looked for how can we find a framework to discuss those challenges. Well, it already says that the challenge of implementing lean across organizations is to realize that they accept it, but it's even harder to sustain. That's also in other businesses, one of the hardest points of CI. And we adopted the model of Waagman et al. That's the article, and they explained what kind of elements are needed as enabling conditions that increase the likelihood of the success of a team. And we made a specification to the success of a CI support team. So the team that helps the organization to improve. And in that description, they have 5 dimensions. It's about being a real team. It's about having a compelling direction. It's about having a supportive organizational context, available expert coaching, and an enabling structure. It's a very, well, rather easy to read and interesting article. You can find it online, but it gives some language to how to describe and how to look at the characteristics for lasting CI support teams, not depending from individuals. What we hope that works is that we want to invite you to give your answers using a WooClap event. And I think I have to do it like this. Yeah, here you see a code, the Q code. And we would like to ask you to go to WooClap to have our discussion, to gather all the information. Carien, have I forgotten something? Do you want to add something?
No, you've told the complete story for now, I think.
Okay.
And maybe we give people some time to open the WooClap event.
Yeah.
With this QR code.
Already 20 people managed to do so. So it's working. Whew. I'm glad. Yeah, any questions on the WooClap? Please put it in the chat. If so, then we can try to solve them.
Naar beneden.
Yeah. No questions that we can see. Then I'll continue with the first question. Carien, will you please take part with the introduction?
Even naar beneden. Yes. Well, the first question is about is it the team, a real team?
A CI team we're talking about.
A CI team
yeah.
we talk about. Are there clear boundaries? Is there independence? And is there stable membership of this team? And what José and I did is that for the 5 items, we described our situation. And we did it from a different perspective, we noticed later. I took the green side, the side of the optimistic side. What we have right now at Saxion is that we have a trusted team of 4 coaches, and we have tools. We have a lot of green belt trained, and we have this supports a team for the organization to enable this change. And we build on the professional CI culture, which we started with the human resources department. So there is a real team. And I'm curious, what is this for your situation in your organization?
Yeah, and if I go to the next one, what we did based on the article, we selected some stellingen, and we'll ask you to rate them, how important it is, and that importance also relates to how it's done in your organization. So looking at the real team, for CI does not make it specific, and then I won't say that again anymore, but you should at last have more than 2 or 3 persons. It should really be a team that they can have the sparring partner. It's about being specialist. It's about being able to collaborate and coordinate, and it's the teams remains largely the same for the relevant period. I hope WooClap is giving you this slide, and I would like to ask you to plot the bullets in WooClap. And this is the exciting moment of the presentation. Is it working? Yes.
Yeah, the code is there in your slide.
Yeah.
There's a question in the chat, you say?
Yes, and, I can see the chat. Yes,
to
please.
see. I can't see him. Is somebody else? Melissa, can you see the chat question?
Yep. So the question is, are we, from Bethley Wilson, are we answering based on what the ideal is or what we have in place in our own institutions?
I think that
yeah, it's what you think would work in your institution. So maybe you have a situation that you think it should be a bit different, but it doesn't have to be the ideal situation. So if you have 2 persons and you say I would like to have 4, then it's a bit important. So more that level. Just take into account your own institution, what you need there. So not the theoretical answers, but the practical answers. I hope that answers the question, Bethany. Yeah, I have a final minute. Maybe someone is thinking. Yeah, shall we? Yeah, well, shall we move to the next page, Carien? I immediately think this is an interesting answer because well, if I look at the answers US colleagues give and I look at the situation of the university, we don't have 3 people. Well, we have some knowledge. So immediately I have some challenges to work on. But let's see for the next slide. Because we're also interested. So what makes your team in your organization, depending on the team consistency, this how the team is working together. So is the real team element, what makes your team successful? What's the success of your team? And maybe you have some suggestions, what's really important, and you can just answer your ideas about it. Enthusiasm, like yes. Common goal. Persistence.
Working together with professional collaboration.
Yes. Ability, I have to move it downwards, I think. Oh, this goes well. Oh, I think the opposite outcome, teamwork, wanting to make the difference, doing the right thing, leadership, clear goals, wanting teamwork. I don't know.
I think the thing is doing the right thing and not the popular thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the points which I really like. Support, but also, well, doing the things which you need to do.
Yeah. And also the passion we have for our field, for improving. That's also one of the things that comes back, that you really need an enthusiastic team, group of people. I like that one. Let's go to the next one. Is there any question in the chat? Anyone who likes to mention something outside what's here? Otherwise, we go to the next question, and then we have, at the end, we have the 5 elements that we want to discuss. But this is about a compelling direction for the team. And now I take the UT perspective. I won't say I'm the negative one, but we don't have any goals. We don't report to anyone. We don't receive any feedback on performance. And nevertheless, they're very happy with us. They like what we do. And well, you can say when you don't know what to do, you're always doing the right things. I must say, from the theoretical perspective, I show people you need goals, and I don't have them in our own team. But how about a compelling direction for your team? What is important in your organization?
We have
and again,
questions for that. Yeah. Is there a team purpose and objective? Are they clearly defined? Is there a challenge? Is the purpose challenging and meaningful? And the third one, do they align with the goals of the other departments? And the last one is really about the Hoshinkanori
Yes.
policy deployment.
It's always a bit painful when in the training, when we tell the Hoshin-Kanri model, the policy deployment model, and at some point people ask me, how about yourself? And I always have to admit that those things are not in place. And then you can discuss what's the impact of it, because you see already in this model that you think, well, we know it and it's important. So why is it not there? Yeah, I see some people who've answered. Don't know. We didn't discuss, Carien, how to handle this one. Wait till everyone did his vote, or just continue after a few minutes.
Well, maybe there are some questions or remarks. I saw one in the chat, but I can't see it right now. So maybe Melissa can help us again.
Yeah, of course. So just that reflection that you had on not necessarily having very clear goals for your own teams. Graham from Strathclyde has put a comment in saying, we have an ethos of not training or supporting practices we don't use ourselves. That's a really strong,
It is.
very
It
strong
is.
principle there, Graham.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, it's a very good one. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Graham, any vacancies at your place, I would almost say. Yeah. Okay, I think shall we continue to the next one? Because of course we have the question, what's the compelling direction of your team? What's the characterization of it? How does it work that it's really compelling for the team and that people want to work for it, want to go for it? Linked to university strategy, yes. Consistent. We don't have one. Huh? Ooh. You want one, yes. Ownership, as you wanted to make
remarks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think enabling other ones to improve has already been mentioned before here, and I think that's a really important one when we train people, that we help them to get out of the frustration, to really help them to make an effort to do it better. And sometimes it goes very quick, and sometimes it needs time and more efforts. But it is a really compelling direction of doing things better.
Yeah. Yeah, but here you see on the upper corner, the accountability. That's an interesting one, because you're supporting the others who have the real goals in their organization. What do they have to achieve? Yeah. Thank you for your answers. We continue to the next one, because there's organizational support, and that is access to rewards, information, education, resources. So are you allowed to move around in the organization, Carien?
Yes, I've already also put a list of things which we have in our organizations. There is some support of organizational context. We have tools, we have those possibilities as learning possibilities in master classes, in community, we have in-company training. But then again, we're not sure if we are complete in this. So I'm really curious about your answers of these questions related to this subject, because sometimes you ask, well, is there more? Do we need to do more on this item? And we thought there are 3 questions asked here. Are the performance recognized and rewarded? The CI team can easily obtain needed data and forecast. It's a really important one, I think. And the CI team has the physical and financial resources required. So is the team also in a positive way supported by resources?
Yeah, and the recognition and rewarding can also be just that colleague that's asking you to join for another session, or to come in for another time, or comes with another question, all that kind of things. And the second one is more of the data. Are you allowed to go everywhere? And this is more spread over everything. Is it needed to be an effective CI team?
It is interesting, these answers.
Yeah. I immediately see all the questions I want to ask based on those results. Because maybe we think it's needed to have access to all the data. You can also argue that it's important that the people you work with have access to the data, and they have to provide it in the sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Because we have two items
2 questions.
left.
Yeah.
And the
And then we
last
want to have
one
the discussion.
is the most
Yes.
important one.
Okay, then a rather quick one on this one. How do your colleagues react to the work of the CI team? And then we mean the colleagues in the organization, so not within the CI team, but the teams you support, you come
from the others.
From the others, yes. Enthusiastic. With high five. Thank you. He missed it with caution.
Love analyzes, hate implementation. That's a good one too.
Is that typical higher education? It's so recognizable. Some tension with IT.
Okay.
Always impressed with the result, I think. Fear of the unknown. I'm looking at the answer. Those answers go everywhere, I would say. Appreciated. Confused. And maybe we haven't split it yet, but it can be maybe a difference between how the colleagues react. That's what we ask now. So thank you for all your answers, but also how the management teams and the executive board reacts on your work. That could even be another question. Let's go to the next one, Carien. As you said, we
Okay.
yeah. Oh,
Yes.
sorry. Expert coaching. That's about the opportunities for the CI team to develop themselves. Well, I'm glad this is an online conference, so now I'm fully allowed to join, and I really think go there and get your information. The moment I say we have to travel to Australia, would have been nice, but I know my boss would have said, no, that's not an option. So the development plan, how do we grow as a team? How do we develop our knowledge? External hiring if needed. Well, we are free to do whatever we like and to find the people. So if you want to visit University of Twente, we always make a nice day for you and you're very welcome. But it's not in the mindset of the organization that the CI team needs development. So from that question, again, we have the 4 questions. The CI team has access to a coach or a leader. A coach or leader helps develop effective work strategies. So you have the dialogue, what to do in the organization. Oh, sorry, here's a typo. The coach or leader supports learning from successes and mistakes. It's not that important. That's the first quick answer.
This is interesting, what I said in the introduction. For me, this development is really a main point of my work. I mean, you can't learn the lean business in such a short time. For me, it's that it takes time, and so the CI teams should especially be be prepared for this.
Yeah, and I think it's also the perspective that as a CI team, you also need development to better support the organization. And
Right.
I don't know how about your organizations, but they hired me and they said, you're the expert, go. And development is, luckily we have you in the international community. I go to the next one. And of course, that's, we thought we go that one. Enabling structure. Is the CI team well embedded? Carien.
Well, that is the main question we have right now, and I think when I speak for Jose and myself, this we have this tools, these facilitation and this support, general support organization, but we still don't know where is the structure, the best place in the organization to keep it in a way that we still can learn and that we do better for the continuous improvement. So where is the embedding from the CI team which works, and what are the experience with the audience today for this question?
And we had 3 questions. Well positioned within the structure. Oh, sorry. Yeah, well positioned within the structure of the organization and be literally hierarchical. As CI team is suitable for the work and feedback on performance. So that's again about a bit about structure. How important is it that the CI team is well positioned within the organization? And you can already think the next question, of course, is where are you positioned in the organization? And do we see a common field?
It's widespread.
Yes. It's a bit a pity. If it was very clear, we could work towards that one. Now we have to find out ourselves, but can give arguments. The well positioning is again, questions come up.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I go to the next one. That's the final book lab thought. What's the preferred hierarchical location of the team, in your opinion? And maybe that's where you're located right now. I'm located in the HR department, and I must say, it's quite an interesting place to be located. We were just curious.
And my location is right under the executive boards, but we will change to the human resource management as well.
Yeah.
So maybe it's an
Strategy
improvement.
department. We don't exist. That's sorry for. Sometimes it feels you're a ghost around the organization, and a friendly ghost, but president, vice channel officer. That's great.
Transformation Center.
Transformation and change management office. I think that's an interesting. We don't have that kind of offices.
Alongside the strategy team is also interesting, I guess. Direct reporting.
Student affairs. Student and educational affairs. Yes. Doesn't matter so long as can't see represented. I don't see this. At leadership table. Yeah, that's also. Yeah, I think that's also an interesting one. Not in operations, with a clear not. Okay. Let's close this one. I'll wait a second with this one. Maybe the person who said not in operations, can you elaborate a little bit? Just speak up. We can't see who voted for that one.
That was me, Bikram from UDES.
Goodbye, thank you. Yeah. Why so explicitly not in operations?
Yeah. So currently my team's located in operations. Before this, it was in other parts of the university. And I think sometimes there are tensions. You asked earlier about alignment with other teams' objectives, etc. I think there are sometimes tensions with trying to improve your colleagues who you're sort of working alongside in the same division when they have objectives that the improvement is not necessarily targeted towards. It's targeted towards making their operations better. I think one of you made the comment doing the right thing versus doing the popular thing or something like that. So I find that tension quite evident.
Okay, it's an interesting one. And to have another question to another colleague, one of you mentioned we do not exist. Can you please elaborate a bit on that one? Is that a problem, actually? I'm wondering, we don't exist. Is it a problem that you do not exist as a team, or?
Can take the role of this. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe it's a hard question to answer that one. Maybe this is one of the challenges we see also in the Netherlands. If we talk to other universities, we are everywhere, and meaning being everywhere maybe means nowhere. And then we found our way and try to be on the right table. I think that's a good answer. But that's interesting how to deal with that one. And we have a final question for you, and then we'll stop the book lab and we just have the discussion. Are we different than CI in CI teams, in organizations, in car companies, in commercial organizations? What makes the difference, or are we different or not? Should we just be as generic and do the rules like leadership, commitment, and that kind of things apply just as well as to, well, the literature will guide us on what is needed to be successful and to be sustainable. Less data driven.
The short answer is no.
Yeah, the short, well, yeah. Sometimes I feel the same, but very other similar to other public sector. Yeah. Money and resources.
I recognize the less data driven. In a masterclass I had last week, as a sort of joke, we said we are a learning factory. And one person really got angry because he said, well, we won't, we are not a factory. We can't be a factory with the students. And then, well, we had a lot of discussion about this. So, well, that you can compare it, I guess. And then you have data, and you need data to see the difference.
Yeah, no difference, just different priorities. Maybe so that's the complexity. Higher education has a higher complexity. So in the core, we can act the same, and the same things apply to be sustainable, but we have that complex organization around us, maybe. Money. Oh, let's continue to the next one, and that's only the question. And I'll stop sharing, Carien, because maybe we can do it with the chat and see what people want to react on this one. I'll stop sharing. And anyone who likes to react in the chat in this discussion, is it a good discussion to have? Is it just everyone for itself, or what can we learn from all the answers? We learned from it. I can look at it and say, hey, this is even more important than I knew or than we knew. But any reaction, or anyone who likes to take the word and just speak if you want to? That's the only disadvantage from online, that you don't, that the discussion has to be a little bit more organized, but
there are some issues which are on the chat from Jan Taylor. Maybe you can elaborate on this. Is the connection to make? Jan?
Sorry, my connection is really, really poor. I didn't quite catch the question.
how can you a bit elaborate on your remark? We don't have formal structure.
Yeah, for continuous improvement at the University of Manchester at the moment, we don't formally have any kind of actual structure in place that is across the entire university. We're a business of about 13,000 staff members, and it's kind of, there are a lot of things of continuous improvement that do happen, but it's not collected together in any way, shape or form. There is no formal training of any way, shape or form. It's not recorded in any way. And Beth, who is also on this call, is the one and only staff member who is tasked with trying to build that from the ground up, which is a huge ask. And there were two of them. Now there's only one at the moment, and I think that Beth has got the hugest hill to climb in trying to disseminate this across the entire university. And so coming to things like this, it's incredibly useful for us. I'm out in one of the faculties. My role was continuous improvement. I've now moved into a slightly different role, but I have continuous improvement still under my remit. It's you know, we're being told it's an important thing, but it feels like it's really important, but we've got all of these other things that we need to decide before we can decide what to do with that. It feels like it's not at the top of the list, but we're supposed to just keep doing it anyway.
Yeah, it's a very interesting movement. How do you say the up and down? You mentioned some universities already working for a long time with lean. I know from production environments, And I remember a discussion I had already 15 years ago with Michael Ballet, the author of Getting the Right Things Done. I met him at a conference and I asked him, hey, well, we are in an organization and attention for continuous improvement is going down. And what can I do as a CI manager to improve? And he gave me the answer. If it's really going down, you go back to a position in the line or you quit the organization. Now, of course, I challenged him. I said, no, it's not that bad and that kind of things. But it's what's happening in that kind of organization also. The management is saying, well, the focus goes disappears from lean. They even take it for granted. They say, well, that's natural that we do so. They don't see the energy that is needed to keep it alive and going. So it's really challenging, and I see same for me here from Kate Elmore. Is it a challenge we face, and is it, well, can we do, maybe that's a follow-up question. Would it be interesting from the global network to spend more time on finding out how we can help each other out, how to maybe get a framework of best practices or anything like that to help each other out?
One of the things that I think would be incredibly useful for universities in a similar position to us is that if we could almost build a kit of parts, if we could, I know that we've started to do that as a network, but if we could really just build a really, really simple, here's how you start kit of parts that really would just kind of save all of this work that we're doing of replicating, you know, reinventing the wheel 17 times over. Because what Beth and I want to put in place is the hub and spoke model that is modeled in many other universities. And, you know, she's doing some great championing with our senior leadership in leading us towards that. But it's just, I was in post for 18 months, you know, and I had written a strategy and I had written a framework and all this kind of stuff for out in the faculty, but I couldn't publish it, I couldn't use it because the centre hadn't made any decisions about what they wanted to do. And we're a centre faculty model, and therefore everything that I was being asked is, well, what's the centre saying? And I couldn't do anything, couldn't get any traction. And I think there's a different dynamic within each university, and our faculty centre faculty model creates additional governance that perhaps other universities don't have to deal with. But I think that if we could build between us some sort of kit of parts, an easy start model that could benefit all of those that are starting almost from scratch and trying to gather people together, I think it would be super useful.
I fully agree, and maybe also not only on the starting part, but also on the continuation part. When we started this question, we have a huge program and that's changing and handing over. Well, and I try to use that moment to say this is what we need to sustain continuous improvement. And the answers you gave me today, I can use them because when they came from the network, and I can say, well, this is what our colleague universities say that is important. I can use that as arguments to say, guys, this is what we really need. So those authorization legislation from other universities doing continuous improvement, our university is very open to those kind of best practices from other universities. So, well, I see Carien nodding. We can use it in a positive way. Use the way the colleagues work with that one.
And it's also always about little steps. One step forward and maybe one step backwards. But then again, please know the ways, but then see if you can manage it, and then take a step forward.
Yeah, and I would really love to sorry.
Yeah, we have to see if we have answered everything on the chats. There are some Becky and see the same here.
Yeah. Yeah,
Becky,
sorry.
You want to add something for of this?
Yeah, so I'm from the University of York, and I used to run a continuous improvement team, and it was seen very much as a nice to have. So when we had a bit of restructuring last year with voluntary severance, me and my team, we used and moved elsewhere to cover gaps made by voluntary severance, because we've been in continuous improvement and we've been across so many departments, it was then seen as, okay, you know departments really, really well, you're used to working across lots of different roles and lots of departments, we'll use you to cover gaps made by VS rather than the continuous improvement continuing. And I'm now more in a traditional business analyst role, which I'm still really enjoying, but the continuous improvement kind of hub that we had has disappeared, and we actually need it more than ever. And it's really difficult. Like Jen said, we had a faculty centre model, and we have technically got no continuous improvement roles at the university. And it's really hard. Like, it's really good to have conferences like this to see what's done elsewhere, so that I can carry on the kind of fight to say, this can't be done on top of somebody's normal role. It has to be an actual unit if we're going to make any sort of significant improvements. But I think also the problem, mainly maybe just at York, but other places, is that people still don't want to see and apply business principles to a university. It's like reluctantly trying to admit that we have to maybe change how we work a little bit and add in some of those lean principles. But we've not even ever costed any of our processes. Like, there's really, at a basic level, there's fundamental things we've just not done. So when I ask these questions and I try to do any sort of Lean Six Sigma basics, nobody knows what I'm talking about at a high leadership level. So they think I've just, and they don't want to face up to the fact that we might have to start thinking about things in a very different way. So it is quite difficult. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that I'm not alone, but it's very interesting to see how everyone else is doing it and how we're just not. Yeah, I'm happy to follow up with anybody in particular about how we could work to maybe share some best practice and maybe support each other, try and put something a bit more substantial in place.
Thank you very much for sharing. And well, it's when we put up the question, we thought, are we the only ones? And well, Beth is, or Melissa is answering, you're definitely not alone. It was also in other sessions that it's not only about an effective start of continuous improvement and getting the energy, but at some point, focus gets lost, it's taken for granted. And then within the CI team, you have to bring back the energy in the organization. And sometimes you don't have the energy to bring it back in the organization, and how to handle that way. Looking at the time, thank you very much for your questions, and we really love, and don't know which format. We have a lot of people here around from the global LHA and from the Europe, from the Netherlands. I can directly look at Carien. That's always very nice. But maybe there's the continuation of Lean. I know from business practices that if you go to conferences, a lot focuses on how to start, and that's an important one. But after some years, this topic comes up, and maybe we can really help each other out on that one. So thank you very much for sharing, for your answers. Carien, anything to add to this one?
No, I think it was wonderful to share this and get all those questions also and combinations and connections in the chat. So I think we've reached our goal to bring in this question in the conference.
Yeah,
so
to bring it to
all.
the table, the topic to the table, and see how we together can move forward with it. Thank you very much for all your answers.
Thank you. Thank you both so much. That was an incredibly enjoyable session on a slightly depressing topic, but you've made it really, really engaging. I think some of the points that have come out are things, obviously, that I think we will continue to talk about. So that kit of parts, what's the easy start model? But as you've also just pointed out, what's the continuation model? I'm in a similar situation. We set up a centre of excellence. We had organisational change, and it's gone because there's now an expectation that everybody can do the work. But without someone to drive the practice, how does that work, and how do you prioritise? And I'm hoping we'll just phoenix again at some point. So it's very cyclical. But what do you need? What do you need to have there? And it comes down to all those things you're talking about. Executive support. There was a comment in the chat around making sure that you don't just have one exec who understands what Lean is or has an awareness of what you can actually deliver through Lean or continuous improvement. You need quite good visibility across the organisation. And that other word that you used a couple of times around passion. which you both clearly have in spades, because that was amazing. Passion and thick skin probably is the other
Sometimes
thing.
feeling like Don Quixote fighting the windmills. I must say that we so believe in the strength of this way of working, and organizations need it so much. So
Yeah,
They do,
Yeah.
particularly now.
we share.
Yeah.
So yes,
Yeah.
I think we have some takeaways, some things we need to do. We need an easy start model, but we need to continue the conversation around how do we continue lean or continuous improvement in our organizations? How do we plan for succession? How do we continue to be there? And how do we keep adding that value? So thank you so much for kicking that conversation off with us today.
Thank you very much.
Huge round of applause. You don't get that in...
I hear it in my ears. Thank you very much.
Thank you.